your whole family, asking you questions, personal questions about your divorce that only few of us have ever heard. And you've been dealing with this. What people don't understand is you've been dealing with this for the whole time, pretty much, you've been on YouTube. And I think with this moment tonight, you being on these live streams, or this morning actually, now was last night too. It should be a mirror up to how men are dealing with women. Like, really, all she wanted to do was talk positively about what was going on in black men's lives, in men's lives in general, not even just black men. And this is what she got in return: an examination of every mistake, every wrong turn that's happened in every relationship she's having, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, can I just ask you right now?
Me or her?
You, Tommy.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you just end this right now?
Well, I can end the show for her, and I even asked her earlier if she needed to rest. She could. But you have to understand, one,
fighter, you know what I mean? She's definitely a fighter. She showed us more strength than I know a lot of dudes would have on this type of thing. They would not.
Yeah, but it's not a fight here, though.
Yeah, no, I understand that. You're doing the right thing. Everything's been, as far as I can see, above board. And I appreciate you for that as a friend of Melanie.
Yeah,
what you have to do is talk to her.
Yes.
I am going to go to. I'm going to go to bed.
You got to get
yes.
But I will say I do appreciate Tommy's conversation, because I feel like he's making a lot of valid points. He's not attacking me, which, you know, a lot of what you see me crying and things like that, I think it's just carry over from what happened earlier. I actually
in
told
a heavyweight boxing match, when you see something go on for too long that doesn't need to go on, you got to throw the white flag. You got to throw the
No, but I got to say this to you, sir.
Yeah.
It goes back to what I was saying to her earlier. If this is your friend, and like you said, this is your actual friend, you should have been talking to this woman. She should have been able to get off because you spoke to her. You wouldn't have had to go through here. You would have.
No, we definitely talked. We talked about all this stuff before.
No. So okay, I'm talking about. Well, you're asking me now. Can you let her go? But you should have been able to ask her to let you go. I know to leave, because a lot of this still looks like what everybody else is doing. A bit of clout chasing.
A lot of what? Her doing?
No. When you're saying, hey, can you let her go? Well, she's an adult.
Absolutely.
But if she's your friend, that you should have been on the phone with her right now. Just like right now, I have people who have sent me messages about anything that I've done. They would text me right now and say, hey, watch out.
Yeah, people have sent me messages. I haven't been checking. I was actually, even if you saw the other lives, I was even on the phone with people. There's just a lot going on.
I think she's been more than fair here. I don't know how long y'all been talking, because, you know.
Yeah, we've been talking. I think you should see it on the back end. It says 2:14. We started at 2:14, and I'm willing to let her go. I think I even asked earlier. I don't want her to have to go through, and she can tell you if I did. I said I don't want her. If she's tired, I want her to rest. I know what she's trying to fight. You're trying to fight against people who don't give a crap. They don't. The more they see you breaking down, this is the best I can say it, and I hate it to say it this way. It's almost orgasmic for people to see you struggle. These same black people who are supposed to be, we black first, be one, then why do they get so much pleasure out of seeing a black person struggle and out of being the reason the black person is struggling?
Oh, but Tommy, you and I know that. We've been around long enough to know who these people are. You know, I know your history in YouTube. And we know who these people are and how they operate and things that they've done in the past. And yeah, you're right. It's all about the content. It's all about, you know, a sensational moment for them, more to the detriment of the black community. You know what I mean? Like they don't really care when it comes down
No,
to
they
it.
don't care if she's a good mom. They don't care if she was a good woman to her husband. They literally do not care anything about this woman, because all these people who keep acting like they care if somebody's a pedo and all these things they do, they got pedos in their family. They got pedos in their own neighborhood. Why is it you've never heard of one of them calling out a pedo in their family or a pedo in their neighborhood? They only want to get YouTube clicks and views. Stop believing these people really give a crap about Melanie and her background. If Melanie didn't come with a bunch of subscribers, they wouldn't care.
Absolutely. Clout chasing. They are clout chasing.
So that's my only point.
Honestly, if she was 14,000 or whatever, I know you have many subscribers yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, more money.
That's how I ended up getting cussed out earlier. I got cussed out because of who I was. If I was a nobody, that wouldn't have happened. But then somebody wants to start a beef with somebody that has no beef with them, and then here we go. Because putting my name in the title of your show is going to get more people to watch your show than not having my name in the title. And that's a fact.
Yeah.
But what I'm going to do is, and I want to thank you for coming up here, bro, because I'm going to bring a few people up here, and I was going to make it to where people could ask like one question of Melanie, because I wanted to humanize Melanie. Melanie, whenever I bring anybody on the show, my job is to humanize them. That because nobody's one dimensional. But I realized I used to have shows and I would talk to people who I would make fun of them. They were out twerking and doing something stupid online. And then when I would bring them on the show, guess what would happen? If we didn't argue, the people got mad at me and said, "You going easy on her." And I was like, wait a minute. So you want me to just cuss this woman out? So you came to see me cuss this woman. You came to see me demean this woman. And if I don't do it, then now your problem is with me. But I seen the same thing. White people were coming to my show to want me to say something bad about black people all day. And if I defend a black person in their right, then you just like the rest of them niggas. So it became this thing that the crowd actually pushes the person's narcissism. They push your narcissism that if you want them to keep agreeing with you, then you must do the world a favor, and the masses, the lynch mob, you must have the lynch mob on your side. And in order to do that, there's blood in the water, and they need the blood to be in the water. And I think that sucks. But let me bring in another person that wants to talk if you want to, or if not, I can let you go and then just let them talk.
I could stay a little bit longer.
All right.
I appreciate you, Fawcett. I do.
Yeah, y'all make it quick. When I bring y'all up here, just be quick and say what it is that you got to say. This Lauren person, that does not look like a real person, ma'am. You do not look like a real person. I don't know why. I got the feeling that I'm going to bring you in and you're going to show me your dingus. And I don't want to see your dingus. But I'll try to bring you in. What's going on?
I'm like so offended that you think I have a penis. I'm shook right now. I was gonna come up here and say all these nice things, but now you're up here saying I'm gonna show you my dingling. I don't got no dingling.
No, I'm just saying. Look, I'm gun shy about letting people up here. I really am, because every time you gotta understand, I've done several shows. I bring somebody up here, and they think I'm seeing their dingus.
That's mean. No dingus over here. Melanie, I just wanted to say, well, first of all, I wanted to ask, how long have you been on YouTube?
In this space, or just total with what I used to
total
do? Since 2016.
Okay, I'm just, have you had conflicts like this before?
Not until I started this channel that I have now. No.
Have you seen other people go through it for entertainment purposes?
No, I was in a family space. I dealt with kids content and mom type stuff. So I've never, I didn't even know this type of thing existed. I didn't know this space existed. I didn't know all of this. So.
All right. Those are really all my questions because, I mean, like, I've been in the YouTube space for like under a year, and I'll tell you what, it was the first thing I noticed when I got into YouTube was these kind of lynch mobs, the echo chambers, the quick opinions about people. So I'm just like, I have a lot of empathy for you, but then at the same time, if you're telling me you've been on YouTube since 2016, like, I just feel like, why don't you know better?
I was in, like I said, I started this channel at the tail end, like December of 2021. My other channel, I have many channels that I had in the kids space, so you don't get this over there. Like it just doesn't exist. It's all mostly love and positivity and family content. So that's what I meant by that.
Okay.
And
Well,
recently I was doxxed, and it's just tipped me over the edge.
I think nobody's ready for the doxing no
one last
longer.
question. With just curly things, like, do you dislike people automatically when they're white?
How the fuck I'm right behind
Just
you?
because, like,
Sitting with
just
the shotgun,
hasty
it's not
things
touching
comment,
you.
and it's just
I've
like,
never said that, and I've
oh,
never
Yeah, she never
well,
called her
then
that.
never mind,
never
then I
even
retract.
spoken.
Yeah, she never called her
I've
that.
never spoken Pearl. I've
You
never
do better.
Then I
It do
retract.
better when
anything
you're
I've had to
silent.
say
It
about Pearl,
does.
I told her personally.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's one of the reasons why they're upset with her is because she didn't publicly jump out the window like everybody else did.
And I'm not going to.
Cool. I mean, all right, then we're cool.
Okay,
Thank
let me
so
ask
much.
you
Have a good
something.
day.
Let me ask you something, Lauren, before you go. Who put your weave in your hair?
This is my fucking hair. I'm Jewish. I'm Jewish, y'all. Isn't that bad?
You're gonna make so many people mad playing in your own hair, girl. You better stop doing that. You're making enemies.
This is my own hair. What are you
You're
doing?
making enemies. They don't want to see you do that. They don't want to see your roots.
Real as it gets. Like, what?
I'm just being an a-hole. So I'll ask you before you leave, what type of content do you do?
Oh, so okay, you guys would actually know the last stream I just did was with Real Brother Radio and Linwood. I do mock trials. So I had a mock trial between them two last. So I really like to see YouTube conflicts. And then if you need to call a bitch out, Melanie, feel free to hit me up and call them out for defamation or whatever. And then you could pretend to be a lawyer and see if you're right. See if they defamed you.
Is your channel your name? Is it straight your name?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to come over there and try to get some of your content.
Okay. Bye. Have a good day.
All right, let me see. Danny IRL, what's going on? Danny?
Hello?
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Can you hear
I'm
me?
assuming Danny's stuff doesn't work. All right, Danny, then I'm going to kick you until it works. Oh, that was odd. Let me go to Steven. Steven.
Hey, how you doing, Tommy?
Doing all right. What question do you have for me or the young lady on the panel?
Hello. Yeah, I'm a fan of both of y'all. Melanie, I am a fan. I did have a question though, regarding, you know, the twerking and everything like that on NTR channel. I'm not gonna really hold you to that, but more so, your talking point back to the crowd was, "Oh, y'all don't get no pussy anyway." Isn't that like the same as divestors and detractors calling men incels and stuff like that? Doesn't that kind of go against what you normally preach?
Did you say that? And it's weird that Steven's on two different channels. Well, I can see Steven's face because it was odd. I saw him.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened.
So, but did you say this? You, Melanie, did you say that? Did you make a reference about people not getting pussy?
I couldn't hear him.
I'll repeat.
Did you make any reference?
I didn't hear
Can you
any
hear
part of
now?
what he said. I can hear him now that I can see him. Yeah.
Okay, good. Go ahead. Repeat it, sir.
Yes, sir. So yeah, like I said, I follow you. But what I disagreed with was not your twerking on MCR's channel or flirting with him or nothing like that. But your comment back to the people that were disagreeing with you was, oh, y'all don't get no pussy anyway. I said, how is that different than the detractors or divestors calling men incels? Doesn't that kind of go against what you preach?
So when did I say that? On which stream?
You
Or
said it
was it
on
the
MCR's live. You said, y'all mad, y'all ain't getting no pussy anyway.
Oh yeah, I think I was responding to somebody's super chat or somebody's comment that was saying something about me. So sometimes when I say something, I'm responding to somebody in a comment, and I probably should say that's who I'm talking to, but sometimes I'll just throw it out there. I do this on my lives. I do this all the time, but I probably should have addressed somebody directly that was saying something to me.
Well, that's not my disagreement. It's not my disagreement that you specifically meant someone. My disagreement is typically you're part of the manosphere, I would consider. Yet
I'm not.
you're against calling men incels for whatever reason. However, assuming somebody isn't getting pussy because they have a negative light on what you're doing, is that different than calling them an incel? And is
But
that not against what you preach?
you have to tell me what I was responding to. So sometimes people are calling me out my name. They're calling me a bust down hoe. They're saying all types of things, a lot of vitriol. I don't know if you've seen some of the stuff that's been going on that people have done. So a lot of times I'm going to defend myself. And if I'm talking to somebody, I don't know if that's a man or woman I'm talking to. So so that for me, that's what I think of. I'm like I'm not a nun. I guess people assume I
No.
am, but I'm going to, if somebody is calling me on that or being disrespectful or saying certain things about me, I'm going to bite back when I need to.
Last thing, Tommy, I'm not going to take up too much time. I respect what you're saying. You have every right to fight back. But my point is you're fighting back with tools that you would chastise someone else for using. For example, the women that call men incels, you have a problem with that typically. I mean, all of us in the manosphere do. However,
Actually,
when someone says something you don't like, they're now an incel. That's what I'm saying.
I've never called anybody an incel.
You said you don't get no pussy anyway. It's like
Yeah, I'm just
semantics.
saying that doesn't mean that they're an incel. I
Incel
mean,
means
I
you
just don't.
Yes,
I
it does.
feel like,
Incel means involuntarily celibate.
right.
I mean,
But that doesn't.
by the way, Tommy, I'm Black Male Media, man. I don't hate on you, though.
Well, I'm glad you called in. You see, I didn't block you or anything. I was just saying, come on up here because I was trying to address what you were
Yes,
saying.
sir.
And I believe I'll
It
address
was a
whatever
joke.
a
It didn't
person has
sound
to
good in
say.
the chat. Yes, sir. I wanted to show I would step up. I'm not an internet thug. I just had that question for Melanie. I appreciate you for having me on.
Well, thank you for coming up here. And let me elaborate, Melanie, of what he's saying, because you and I talked about it earlier. And it is the hypocritical nature of women that I don't like. And I'm going to tell you where I stand. I don't think that any of these men should be listening to y'all for any other reason than to try to have sex with you. And even then, I wouldn't pay you to listen to you just to hope that I could get to sleep with you. Let me explain. Because y'all don't have any accountability. A lot of the questions that's being asked of you today, you danced around them, but you never addressed them specifically. Let me explain. Earlier, we talked about how you said it's messed up that these people were talking and being just as racist towards just Pearly things as they was claiming she was being. And you just tried to dance around something where there's no excuse for it. You're not defending yourself by saying to a man, you don't get no pussy. As a matter of fact, a mother, a former wife, should not be saying that to any male, especially when you just claim you weren't trying to flirt with these men that you've been on their shows or anything. So for someone to say something you don't like, him not getting pussy is not a point of logic or fact. You don't know this person. You don't know these people. So whatever they said that bothered you, you could do the same thing I've been saying since we started, which is, why don't you address what the person said? But you won't. And that's what the point was. But you didn't see it because it didn't matter at that point.
It won't be something, okay, so it won't be something somebody has said where it's just a comment I dislike. That happens all the time. But you've seen some of what happened tonight, Tommy. You've seen what the chat was like. And people will say, I don't know what comment he's referring to. I don't believe he's talking about, I said that to somebody directly. is most likely. I remember when somebody spam in the comments about personal
So
things
then
about.
Jess Pearly should be able to call somebody a nigger because she got mad. By the logic of what you're saying, so many people came at her, she should have been able to respond to somebody and said nigger. Same thing about what your child went through. You're literally trying to tell people that just because they have a disagreement, there should be a place you don't go with.
But it's not a disagreement, Tommy, when someone is calling you.
Okay, just because someone's calling you a name, there's a name you shouldn't call them back.
What they're saying, it's not a name. What they will say is, that's why you don't have your kids, and they were taken away. You, excuse my language, pussy ass bitch. It's just like, you know.
What does that have to do with you don't get sex? So you don't get sex as a comeback? Like, it's like you just won't listen to that part. That's why I gave you the example of Pearly's comeback should just be nigger then. By your logic, you bothered me so much, I'm going to say something next.
But I guess my thing is, taking Pearl out of it, I don't want to bring her into what and I don't want to go there with her. But I would say, I think you have some merit here in what you're saying, is that I can respond better when I feel triggered.
Yes, that was it.
Somebody's attacking me, and I agree with that. I think I can do better with that, and that's actually something.
You know, you could get so much farther with these people if you did that to start. Like the thing you were trying to preach about what women do, you as a woman are doing it. People ask me, well, you cussed that woman out on the side of the road. Do you know what my answer is every time they said it? Yeah, I probably shouldn't have cussed her out. What the fuck am I going to sit up there and keep on arguing something that's common sense? Even if you did it, that doesn't mean you have to argue it. You can say, if I am on the side of men and I see how men are being done dirty, and you're talking about people putting things out in your kid and making them look bad, well, why would you want your kids to hear you say to somebody in response, you don't get no pussy, as if pussy's the end all goal? And if pussy's the end all goal for men, then that sounds pretty crazy to hear from a woman. And our black women do that way too much. When you were talking about how these women and thoughts, a thought's thought would be, you don't get no pussy. Because in order for a thought to exist, men got to be able to sleep with a lot of women. And when we're preaching in these men's head that what you say holds no value because you don't get a bunch of sex, how can we be anti-thought at that point?
So I agree with you, Tommy. I definitely, that is something that I shouldn't do. That's something that I need to work on and learn to hold my tongue and think about, not let it get me so triggered that I just have this response. Like I said, there are things that I need to improve in greatly, and I acknowledge that. So yeah, I think you're right.
That's all. And see that, and then I'll tell you, when people come up here, that's why I love to leave the line on. Come up here, tell me what the fuck I did wrong. Go ahead. I give you the eye to be able to do it, because sometimes I can listen and be like, at the moment, yeah, I felt right in doing it at the moment. But most of us make the worst decisions of our life when they're snap judgments. Somebody tell me I'm lying. The worst decisions we usually make is the snap judgment ones. The biggest problem I have with black women is it seems like, let me stop saying black women, because these men are just like women at this point. We double down on the things we're doing wrong. Like in an honest moment, I should be able to sit these dudes down who are doxing you and tell them, hey, you went too far when you did that, right? But what will they do? No, because she did. No, because, and we do all this no, because. We never stop and say, no, sometimes, and that's why I give Lucky credit. Lucky, there's a young lady in the comment section. Her name was Lucky. Her name is Lucky. She, they were asking her, you did this to this dude. And she said, yep. They said, well, do you think it's messed up when you called so-and-so on them? She said, yeah. She didn't sit there and try to say, hey, yeah, it's okay, I did it. No, it was, no, I reacted at that moment in this way. Looking back on it, which is what I expect other people to do, can I see where it went or should have went different? That's all. And if we do more of that, I think.
I agree with you, and I'm actually grateful that you actually called me out on that in the way that you did, because I can see the logic in what you're saying, and looking at it, it's an immature response that I had, and it's unbecoming, and it's not who I want to be. So I have some growth work to do with that. So I
What we
appreciate
all
it.
do. And I tell people this, and this is to back you on, because there has to be a healthy way of conversations are being held. So now that you admitted that, I then want to turn around and say this. Y'all do know we as Black people make it hard for people to say, I might have made a mistake. Because once they do, we don't let it go. When somebody admits they made a mistake with us as Black people, we beat them down. We don't let it go. We beat them to death. Now, I could see if it was a huge mistake, but y'all are beating people down over the smallest of mistakes.
Experience the future of connectivity with Spectrum One. You get Spectrum Internet delivering the fastest speeds in the nation for $49.99 a month. Advanced Wi-Fi for enhanced privacy and security, free for 12 months. And a Spectrum mobile line with unlimited talk, text, and data, plus nationwide 5G, free for 12 months. That's Spectrum One. Visit Spectrum.com or your local Spectrum store today. Offer subject to change. Valid for qualified residential customers only. Service not available in all areas. Restrictions apply.
Indulge in the decadence of a Magnum Double Caramel Ice Cream Bar. Transport yourself through layers of velvety vanilla ice cream, caramel sauce, and chocolate shell that's a break from the everyday. Magnum Ice Cream. More is more. Find Magnum Ice Cream Bars on Amazon Fresh and where ice cream is sold in stores.
Page out of Pearlie's book, that girl went to Italy when they started coming for her. You know what I mean? Take a little time out, protect your peace, protect your family. What they're doing to you is terrible. I don't agree with it. But just wait a week and there'll be a new person they're going to be on. I promise you. There's going to be a new person that they're going to be dragging for filth for whatever reason. I know you want to defend yourself, and I understand that instinct, but just fall back. You know what I mean? Let it pass. It's the internet. And there'll be a new flavor next week to drag. I promise. But that's all I got to say. Salute to you, Tommy. Good luck, Melanie. Bye.
Thank you, Squared Away. And let me ask you, Melanie, for real. How does it make you feel when you hear someone at least say something like that to you? Like, you because you're waiting, and when you hear people come up here, you think they're about to, somebody's about to saying, hey, we know why you're fighting, because it's hard to hear what people are saying. But they'll be on somebody else's ass in a few days.
Yeah, I wish I had the luxury of taking a vacation right now. I got school with kids. I got, hopefully sometime soon. But yeah, I appreciate it, honestly. It actually means a lot, if I'm honest. So I appreciate him saying that.
Well, I'll bring in somebody else. Hype, I know he was on the other show with you. I'll let him speak. Go ahead. You are muted, sir. Why you up there saying all that good shit? We didn't hear none of it.
I ain't, god damn it, motherfucker. Damn it. My bad. Melody. I'm sorry about that. Yes, I was in the other show, and my whole thing is, what is the biggest takeaway what is the biggest thing that you seen and you experienced a lot? I didn't agree with the fucking ad hominem attacks, and I don't agree with doing any of that shit. I don't do any fucking name calling or anything like that. But I just want to know, from this whole experience, what are you going to take away from this experience?
A lot. I think what Tommy mentioned earlier about me, you know, if like what he said about what I did, what I spoke to, I think Black Male Media Reacts, I think that was his name. I think what Tommy said to me, that was a big thing because that's actually something I've been working on. I always say my mouth is a war hammer. Honestly, what you see me say or do, it's actually very edited, believe it or not. I can I can go there with people. I don't, but I can go. I can go and really really break a person down. And I thought that I was doing okay with that, but I realized I'm not, and that I need to do better, and have some growth work to do with that. Um, as far as I don't know, you said as far as I know, you mentioned the other live stream. Which live stream were you referring to, or other
Mike.
show?
Mike.
Yeah, he was there because that's what I wanted to ask him. Hype. You seem to kind of have been joining the lynch mob, so I want to hold you.
Me lynch mobs? I don't lynch anyone.
What were your thoughts? What made you
my
jump up
whole
there on
thing
the
is
panel? Because you didn't call her out of her name like they did. I give you credit for that. You didn't.
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't. It was the. My thing is how I'm thinking and how you came. You were a part of Kevin Samuels. I had my own little session with Kevin Samuels 2 years ago as well, right before he passed away. And as far as his memory goes and his legacy goes, I feel as though somehow you're straying away from his teachings, or that's how I feel as though you maybe a little bit went, or what you're straying away from what his central things, or what he's always what he stands for. His big thing was always bigging up the men in the middle, self improvement, and I believe, well, I was thinking, my thought process, I thought you strayed away from that. And I
Well, let
believe,
me ask you: do you think that he strayed away from anything on the day he died, the night he was with that girl? Do you think he strayed away from his own teachings?
he was. You gotta. He's a single man. Who like men have needs, correct?
Well, yes, but do you think he strayed away from some of his teachings when he did? Because when I saw him do something to this young cat that was called into his show, I thought that was ugly when he tried to tell that man what he had by his age and why nobody wanted him. And to come to find out, he not only didn't have that by his age, but he didn't have that in his 30s or 40s either. So that was messed up because he wasn't teaching that boy and helping that boy. He was putting that man down when literally 2 years before he died, that's when he got his greatest run in life.
Mm-hmm.
That was fucked up. You shouldn't do that to a 20-year-old who's calling you and trying to put him down by lying, by using the lie you made about yourself online. There's nothing wrong with making yourself out to be something, but to not help the next man get to where you are, instead put him down by what he's achieved at 20.
And Tommy, let me say it like this: at certain times, and you gotta understand, he is a young man. When I was the exact same age, guess where I was? I was in the military as well. When I went into the military, there was absolutely no goddamn mercy on my ass at all. I would not be the man that I am right now if I didn't have 20 to 30 I'm talking grown ass men on my ass every day.
Listen, if you go to prison, you'll have the same thing.
Well, yeah, too. Yeah. That okay, man. That was a good one. That was a good one. But yeah, they never let me slack on anything. Anytime I fucked up, anytime I fucked up, I got fucked up. That's called. That was just.
You keep talking. I can hear you. I'm just
okay. That was just called. That was tough love. That was some shit that a 19-year-old fucking kid from California needed to hear. I needed that. I needed that tough love. I needed that rough. I needed somebody to kick my ass to make me a man.
But I think that there's a. But if you got to understand, I'm with you. No, I'm with you. But it's messed up when what you're using to kick his ass is you as a measuring stick. Steve Rogers ain't gonna go around telling people when I joined the army, I was swole and had the shield when he know he wasn't. And the reason why he's swole now is because he got the super serum. Like, it's messed up to talk down to someone once you get the super serum. And what was his super serum? All he did was put a suit on what I had already been saying. If we're just going to be honest, he even used straight up repeat skits of calls that were mine. There were calls that happened on my show. He just redid them. So when you did that, and you shot records that show you weren't that in your 20s. You weren't that in your 30s. You weren't that in your 40s. Why would you give this young boy that thought of I've already failed out the gate?
That is called that's what you call they call a push and pull technique to break you down to build you back up.
Well, see, but he never built him up. That's what I'm saying. Like even right now, what we're doing with her, once I get her to a certain point, now I'm going to say, and you notice I said to her, everything you're doing, other people have the same problem. I'm not going to say, you're the only bitch think like this. Nah, that's crazy. Once I can get you to admit it's a problem, notice I never said that to her until I got her to admit it's a problem. Because every time she refused to admit it was a problem, I will not let her get away with walking around swearing this is not a problem, making excuse. But once she said it's a problem, what did I then do?
You corrected her. You got right on.
So that's what it is that they did to you. And I come from a military family as well. So I know that part of it to where, and I got cops in my family and firemen in the family. So like a lot of these things, they believe in being real rigid. But also when they can get you to, when you say, I fucked up, that's kind of what they want you to do. Once you start realizing you fucked up, then there's some change can happen. They beat you down because you won't realize you fucked up.
Yes.
So
and I think, Melody, that's what people want to hear from you.
Yes.
They want to hear you say, hey, people, I fucked up. That's what they want to hear from you. So unfortunately, that's the way that's what they want. People want to hear you say, I fucked up. I made a mistake in whatever, you know.
And here's the thing: sometimes it's hard to beat on someone who's beating themselves. I'm gonna give y'all a perfect example. If it was a white dude walking down the street and a black mob was getting ready to beat this white boy up because this white boy said the N-word, if he had a whip in his hand and he was whipping himself, everybody would look at each other and be like,
first of all, I'm probably gonna think something wrong with him. I'm probably gonna
take
I'm gonna take that whip out of his motherfucking hand.
Right. So they think he was crazy. So half the time they would probably try to stop him from whipping himself. Sometimes you got to realize, hey, these people want to sacrifice. I'll go ahead and sacrifice myself. See what you do then.
And
Melanie, these people, let me explain something to you. They need you to fight back against them. Therefore, it gives them more reason to keep hitting you.
And believe it or not, I think in a little bit of a way, they kind of do want to make you a little bit stronger. In a strange way.
Nah, I think a lot of those people aren't. Let me tell you why. Because these are hurt people who are hurting people. If you go out of your way to drag up her personal life, it's because you know you got dirt in yours. I've never seen one of these people dig up someone's personal life who didn't have dirt in theirs. That's what's so scary about it. They're not trying to help her. They want to see the pain in her eyes. They want to see her go down, just like they wanted Derek Jackson to lose all of his subs, just like they want everybody who's up. Let me just be real with you. Everybody who's up, they want shit. They want you to be down, because when you're doing something, especially other YouTubers, you remind them that they haven't succeeded. If you got 200,000 subscribers and I got 10, I don't give a damn how much you apologize to me. You can't apologize to me enough until you give me them subs you got. Fuck your apology, Melanie. Send your subs my way. You want to apologize to me? Switch channels with me. That's what they want.
Melanie, and here's the thing. Just keep reaching out. I would say, Mike. I think what really set Mike off is it truly was the threatening of the lawsuit. I think that really was set him off, and I think that what it was.
I don't think that's true. He's been making videos about me, my looks, my life, my family for an entire year.
You think about it. She threatened a lawsuit after having videos made about her. She didn't just threaten a lawsuit.
It was doxing and my children.
I know there was the one 9 months ago. It was the one 9 months ago, and I know he re-uploaded another one, and just recently he started doing the other ones. The other one was not.
He's been doing a lot more than that, and I'm even the channel trailer for his channel. A video doxing me and my family, or talking shit about me and my kids and my family. So I just don't believe that's true.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm not gonna let you see. You remember Hype? You were asking her, and the one thing about me is I'm fair. That's why it's hard to get people around. You were asking her, saying that people just want her to admit a problem. You won't admit that there's a problem.
Can I just say that? I'm sorry.
And that is a point.
That's a point. Hold on. I don't mean to cut you off. Guys, you don't want to believe it, but other women saying, why am I crying? A feminine woman doesn't ask another woman why she's crying. It's been a lot. And if you're so hard up that you are like that, I mean, like, what is wrong with you? And I've seen more men today show more compassion towards me than most of the women that I've seen, especially in the chat.
Because we'd like to sleep with you.
You're not. So
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I wouldn't mind.
I'm just trying to be honest.
Honest, hey, Melanie, I wouldn't mind clapping them cheeks a couple hours.
Right. Just trying to be honest here. Just trying to be honest here. We wouldn't mind sleeping with you. And most men are raised to where you're not supposed to dogpile a woman. And let's just be honest, guys. There's a thing called biology, and it's innate in people. Women have bigger eyes, and the way that their eyes are shaped, just like children, is shaped away because biologically they're not physically as strong as men. So they use that, the way that their voices are higher when they can scream like a siren. These things are innate in women, which help them to survive. And that ability to cry is one of the things that is innate in a woman to help them survive an attack. Because if I get to crying,
man, shut your bitch ass up.
Right. Nobody's gonna care, and I know that there's men out there who cry when they're alone, and I would sit up here and be like, y'all should understand what I'm going through, and it don't matter. They're gonna turn on me. So my tears is not a defense. So it is a defense mechanism. So a lot of people.
I'm not using a defense. I think maybe I should.
No, you may not be using it. I'm just saying that it. Yeah, we're not saying that you're using it. We're saying that it's like with women. Because here's what I would like to happen. Let me explain.
I don't want people. I don't.
But here's what I would like to happen. And I had actually talked about this several times. People know this. And here's what I would like to happen. I always look at women when women try to. Go. Okay, thank you, dear, for coming through. We'll talk again. We'll talk again, and we'll talk at another time if that's okay. Okay. I'll reach out to you. I think a young lady sent an email for me, so look out for her. It should come from either Gail or me, but look out for the email. And I think you said you're in Atlanta. I'm in Atlanta too. We'll help all of us.
I'm not in Atlanta.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
I don't know where I am. I'm just visiting. I'm in a hotel.
Oh, okay. Cool. Well, you need to take a break. We'll talk at another time. I'll let these people come up here though and come on the show. Thank you so much, and thank you, Hype, for coming up here. And I'm gonna bring up the rest of y'all. And I want to say this, though, before I get up there. This is why I don't believe in female leadership. Because if we expect that a man is supposed to handle adversity and run headlong into the adversity, then if women are going to lead, shouldn't they do the same thing? Why would you want an individual in a leadership position that as soon as they get to the point where things are hard, their response is to cry, but you're expecting a man to stand strong and to face that adversity? Because like Clayball said, there's nothing wrong with crying. And I never will blame an individual for crying. But y'all can't then turn around and say this person needs to lead. Because you watch. And for all you military men, someone tell me if I'm lying. When you first see somebody get blown up or shot in your company, do you not want to cry? Does it not hurt you? Whenever a man comes home and he sees his children, every time y'all watch those true crime shows, when the husband sees his wife or children deceased, and he called 911 and be like he can't get his words out, what's the first thing they say? They look at him as a suspect. Wow. They say, as a man, if you came in the house and saw this, why would you run away? So you came in and you thought that somebody had done something to your wife and you left? He's the first suspect. But a woman gets to, they got a gun, they broke in, I froze. Then why would y'all listen to that person? This is, to me, all it shows is y'all men who listen to women as leaders are stupid. Because when y'all get caught up in drama, when y'all get caught up in anything, you don't get to cry. You get made fun of. But women, things get difficult, they get to cry. And then you got to feel sorry and you got to back up. Somebody said, Tommy makes a lot of sense. I do. I do. If you listen to me long enough, you'll realize there's a bunch of people who hate me and they hate me for no reason. Let me bring in a young lady. I know you didn't get a chance to talk to her, but what are your thoughts of what you've seen, have been seeing, and what's going on?
Hey, Tommy.
How you been?
Good. I was listening a little bit in and out. I think what she's experiencing, I wanted to say this, I'm not up here to bash her, because if anybody know, the exposed culture is a part of that space, and that's why I don't particularly like the space. And I think what she's feeling is her harsh criticism that she has towards other women's behavior. She, instead of being transparent with your content, saying, I do these things, or I'm like this too, or anything about your life, as long as you own your shit, nobody can expose you. All they can do is say, hey, this person said this at one point in time, but if you've already owned it, you're saying this is the seat that I'm sitting in because this is my experience. I think when women try to hide their experiences or things that they do that quote unquote modern women do, then it starts to be an embarrassment because someone can say, hey, weren't you trying to twerk? Weren't you doing these things? And I think that's what she's experiencing. And I don't like to see women cry, because I understand it gets overwhelming. But I think no woman is going to have sympathy for her tears because a lot of her content was harsh opinions towards certain behaviors of women. And it's different if you speak from a standpoint of a Maya Angelou where, I was a prostitute, but now I'm speaking from wisdom. It doesn't really come off as wisdom sometimes. It just comes off as criticism. I'm better than you. So this is why I think it becomes a good story, because now people are like, oh, you were this. Why did you leave your husband? Why did this didn't work out? You're this. Now you have to explain instead of just saying, hey, I was married once before. This is what happened. I think that's why men liked Kevin Samuels, because he never said he wasn't married. But like you were saying, how he passed gave people pause, because it's like, how can you talk about the way men should have penis discipline or they should be more selective and these type of things, but you're doing the exact opposite? It just seems like you're selling a message you don't actually support or live by. And I think
all of them are doing that. Remember, when I brought out what Kevin Samuels had done, I said he talked crap about a dude saying that at this age he had, and it was a lie. I mean, it was a complete fabrication. Most of the things he said was a lie. He's a straight up lie. Kevin Samuels was a caller into my shows. He was a fan of my shows. He literally redid actual phone calls that happened on my show. He set them up as they were happening on his shows, word for word. Would repeat what I said to the person, word for word. He lied. But
I think that's the thing. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. You kind of.
No, I was just saying, but if you don't have people looking into your life, that's why I believe that most of these people are just liars who couldn't do anything outside of getting online and getting a group of people to believe the lie that they saw somebody else get traction saying these things, and they just turned around and said, let me say the same thing. Let me say the same thing. Because they don't believe it. Let me dress it up.
It's a formula.
Yeah, no, yes, it's all about it's a coin rush. That's what this should be called, the Great Coin Rush in 2019. That's what happened.
Yeah, I think that she believes the things that she's sending a message. I think just when women come in, because one thing I seen on the other stream that she called into when someone sent a clip, she was explaining how she was looking for content of males to come support. But if your message is because you want more women to be marriage minded or more available for the men, I kind of wanted to ask, and she don't have to answer me, she don't know me, but just ask, now that you see you're backing men who will take turns to drag you and expose you, why not reach out to female content creators and bridge the gap, since the point of the women is to quote unquote check the women? You can't check women and sit on the side of man as if they're not going to judge you to the same standard you're judging other women with. If the message is women have to check women don't belong in men's spaces, it's because you should probably be reaching out to the women to see which women you could bridge the gap, get an understanding, and make them more open-minded to these quote-unquote available men that you advocate for. But now it just seems like because of, and I don't even know what's going on. I don't even know why her marriage is any of our business, but it's YouTube. Hey, it's open playfield. But I think with just to see the clips where she's harshly judging women, saying you're not a Christian because of this, you're not this because of this, and then you're saying, talking about women being overweight, but now they're showing how you've had surgery and stuff like that. Maybe your message, I'm not trying to be funny, Tommy, don't laugh. Maybe your message could have been like, hey, I'm for it. Like me, I've never had surgery, but I'm not against it. I would say, hey, if you a certain size and you want to jump the head start and get lipo, I'm not against it as long as you go in the gym. But if your message is more geared towards, you need to get in the gym and you need to look like this, but you've also had work done, it's like, why not just speak from your authentic perspective of what you believe, so we can like who you actually are.
Let me tell you why, ma'am, Miss Hawkins. No, let me tell you. let me tell you why they do this. Because we as Black people don't want to identify with you. We want to villainize you. And we are such people who used to been whipped. We like being whipped. We want someone to talk down to us. We want someone to be like, I know it all and you don't. Why do you think our music is not our music? I can fuck your man better than you can fuck your man. It's not our music.
I can take your man. That's what they
See? Like literally, this is our thing. Our thing is not just to say, I've been there with you. I know what you're talking about. You got a bunch of people online with herpes talking shit about people with herpes. They just know, they don't know. You don't know they got it. You got a bunch of women talking shit about women who send their news to dudes online when they send their news to dudes online.
We didn't have that conversation.
Think about it. It's a bunch of people saying things to other people to try to make them feel bad, most of which they have that or worse on their ledger.
Well, that part, there's different type of music, but that part I agree, because I was actually talking to somebody about how a lot of these content creators, if they really understood history and what media was when they did blackface, they would realize they're really just playing into the narrative to have Black people look a certain way, or like you just said, crabs in a bucket. The way that I could build my channel is not because I'm going to be authentic and I want an audience to support me and my message. It's, I want to get here faster, so I need to bring this other person down, have their audience look this way so I can get the subscriber count. But the thing is you have to keep shit going if you build your audience off of shit. So the thing about her content, if her content is built off of a male's perspective, and now she's in a certain position. I don't think that she would lose supporters, but I can understand how this could be hurtful to her because you champion a message and you did a good job of keeping some things private. But the problem is once you go into any media and you start to grow larger, you can't keep anything private. So I think the safe thing to do is to just be authentic. We can say whatever we want, and she don't like Cardi B. This ain't no shot, but Cardi B has been who she is since day one. So you could say whatever, you could say, hey, you did this, you said this, but they're only going to rap her by her words. Whoever her audience is her audience. But we can't judge a person who is authentic, just like you. Yeah, I did that. Yeah, I was in this person DMs, but I still think they wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, you can't fight with somebody who's sitting in their own shit. You just look crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I think that for her being emotional, I think certain women would empathize with it, but she's not gonna get it because it's just like me. When you're emotional and you cry, you can get overwhelmed as a woman, but nobody really cares because you didn't have that compassion when you were judging other women.
I was about to say that
that
she's manipulative. That's why I was trying to get her to stop doing. Because whenever you approach someone and you tell them this is wrong, you're right. Because if you say a truth about someone, why are they arguing it? It's a fact. It's written down. We know it. Why are they arguing it? And like you said, she wasn't crying when she was saying what other women should be doing. She wasn't crying when she was saying how other women, and this is how this makes them look. Yet when you asked her the same thing about what she did, which how she makes her look, like the question you said you wanted to ask her, you might have weren't here. I actually asked her that several times, except I asked it this way. Maybe you can answer it.
Mm-hmm.
I asked it this way. I said, so those women, how did you feel about these men going after you and these women are encouraging them? And she said, well, I expected the women to do it. I just didn't expect the men to do it because I was on their side. I said, no, the men, if they saw you do something hypocritical to why they were on your side, then of course they would call it out because you were quote unquote preaching for them against the others. But these women who you claim you wanted to get them to do better, these women encourage these men to drag all your personal business out there. Because there were no women in those dudes' comment sections telling these men you shouldn't be doing this to women.
Oh, you know how women are. We can either multiply the greatness a man is putting out or the bad. And I think that's where sometimes the power gets lost, is that men could just do you could do a stream and you could just ask her simple questions on contradiction. But until a woman come and say, no, ask her this. Did you hear about this? You ever been around your mother or somebody and you thought you had a good back and forth and then they gave you some more stuff to say that you didn't think about, or you should do like this to catch them in this? Because when it we don't control our own insecurities. So when we see another woman who is pretty, gets the attention, gets all of this from men, and men love her, the minute you have a slip up, you could really believe what men are saying. The minute you have a slip up, women are about to be on your ass, especially if you are judging the same women who could be out here dating men and doing all this, and you're making them look like they should be competing with you. If it's a competition, then you should also understand in a certain competition, when you seem like you're losing, these same women are not gonna, they're gonna be parading, they're gonna be like, that's what you get. Now it's about to be a whole swarm of stuff for a week about this lady. And I just think that unless it's really affecting her family, that would be the only part that I think people would get her on, is because you care about your kids, and I understand that, but you were on live drinking, doing stuff that you wouldn't want your kids to see, or that you would speak and say you shouldn't do these things because you're a mother and you're 41. You know what I'm saying? So you can't really make the same mistakes like a 21-year-old would make if she's on camera having fun drinking. People are looking at you saying you have a higher responsibility because you are 41, because you had a husband, because you have a family. You kind of get what
But
I'm
here's the
saying?
problem, though. You have an individual who realizes that they're not. A byproduct of me doing some shit I probably shouldn't be doing is me getting views I probably wouldn't be getting.
So it's like selling yourself out.
Yep. Think about how many of them do it. They'll come in and they will act like they're against this. They'll act like they're against that. And they'll start doing exactly what they said. That old face who keeps making all them videos about me. He literally swore up and down that wouldn't be what he would do. Now he telling people when they ask him a question about what he doing, he swears up and down. Now he's telling you he's rich. When before he was sitting up against a wall with a dry erase, small dry erase board, and he didn't have enough money to even get a haircut. It's the same guy. And I think that sucks that every one of these people end up doing things like that. They can't stop themselves because they will run headlong. There was, the little fella, he kept talking about somehow I couldn't keep a YouTube channel. Which one of us don't have a channel now? But it didn't matter. It didn't matter because people will say things and they don't care about the next 5 minutes. It will be a hypocritical thing they said. That's why you can hate me as much as you want. People keep looking back and they say, well, he hasn't been hypocritical about anything. I haven't. You know who I am. You know what I'm
always say that. I think that's too why with you, I can always understand how to be fair. That's how I try to have conversations. But this is one of the reasons why I couldn't do the space is because you think you're trying to reach an understanding, but you're really going back and forth with somebody whose only goal is to make you look worse than them.
Yep.
So you'll never get that understanding. And your chat before I go, it says, "Isn't Lucky the one who pegged the man?" Yes. I fucked the man in the ass.
like, how is that a diss though?
And I say
everything that they say are disses are not disses. It's just dirty. It's just like you didn't say you anti-pegging a man. So how is that a diss?
I'm not against polyamory. I'm not against what married couples do, but
right.
I too, Tommy. There's a sense of conversation that people, a life that people aren't exposed to when they talk about this high value people. They don't really understand what those people do for fun, what they entail, and the things that they like. So I think there is a part in our culture where we're so misinformed and we're so used to hearing stuff that make us feel good or validated. It is so unrealistic to hear things that are outside of your comfort zone or what you know to be true to then have conversations about. People aren't ready for conversations. People aren't even ready to have the real conversations with themselves where they can be open and honest before they go to an audience. This is why certain stuff will break somebody. This is why if you hear about it, oh, I know I had, like you said earlier, a person with 3 kids would complain about a person, oh, at least I don't have 4. There's nothing wrong with 3 kids if you can take care of them, but you have the struggling person with 3 kids or multiple baby mothers, baby daddies talking about someone else just because they have more, but y'all both are contributing to the problem. We're just arguing over whose sin is greater than the other. You know what I'm saying? So I think
and no understanding. That's why I keep saying women are really bad towards it. Y'all don't need men to put y'all down. Y'all put each other down. Every time they say, look at what you say about black women. What I told them earlier, I said, okay, y'all said y'all have a problem with me calling black women B's and H's. This woman didn't call them out of their name at all. She went on 2 shows and it was nothing but women calling her B's and H's.
Yeah, I think we call women hoes more than y'all do.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. People ask, where did you cuss women out? I said, you know how I learned how to cuss? There was no men in my house when I grew up. There was no men. So how am I this proficient at cussing?
I will concede to that, yield to that, because the way I learned how to cuss when I was in middle school, when you cuss when your parents ain't around. My grandma, I was cussing just like my grandma. So I definitely understand that. My dad was the type to, if he slipped up and said a cuss word around kids, oh, excuse me, babe, cover your
right.
ears.
We try not to cuss. Like I got daughters. I try not to cuss around them. I'm up here hiding in my own house. I have to make sure that when they hear that if I'm on the 3rd floor, they got to be in the basement, or I'm in the basement and I'm in the corner opposite side of the house. Because as a father, you're just really trying not to corrupt your children. But those women in my house that I grew up in, they had no problem corrupting us. They had no problem having their boyfriends come in the house and telling you to sit in the living room while they did whatever they was doing. They had no problem sitting up there telling you if they were selling drugs or had a drug dealer around them. They had no problem doing it in front of their children. You watch me when my daughter's around, you can tell when she's around. You'll listen that I'm using very few cuss words. None of my jokes will be sexual. You can just watch the shows and tell, oh, his daughter's around. Listen to how he's talking.
Yeah. Well, I have a question before I go because this would be funny. How many times have you heard from a woman growing up, sit your black monkey ass down?
I've heard that. Sit your black ass down. Sit your black dumb ass down. You're stupid. Well, the reason why is because I heard so much negativity said to the children, and it wasn't like it was all. So my man Fatty in the building. It wasn't always directly towards me. It was just towards children, and that was one of the reasons why I came to talk about what I talked about. Okay. Because so many children have heard the most harsh shit ever, and it came from their parent, and namely their mothers. Women would talk to them like this. How do you listen to someone call you ugly, black, nappy-headed, and not have some type of self-esteem issue when you grow up? A lot of the issues that blacks are dealing with were issues that were given to them by the people they love more than anything else. So when all these people have a problem with what I say online, I always ask them, I bet your mother said worse and she said it directly to you. I didn't. I said it in a video you didn't have to watch. Your mom said it to your face until you go to bed.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that for Melanie, I hope that this too shall pass, and just start to feel like she can be more authentic. I think this is a good thing for her, in my opinion. I think this is a good thing to now show who you really are so people could really like you. Like they like you. They like your content. I think she believes what she's saying. I just think when you get relaxed, what you say should always align with what you actually display in your life or what you're trying to do. That's just what I believe in content, because I would not follow Iyanla Van Zant for all these years if I seen her switch up, if I did not see her books not relate to her life or things like that. It would probably disappoint me. You know what I'm saying? But one thing I think that women should learn to do, instead of speaking from a judgmental standpoint or I'm better than you or comparing wrongs, I think it would be you would reach more women, and I'm learning by just learning to be compassionate and understanding them. And also knowing that we as women, we're chaotic in our heads without men. So I don't expect her to just be perfect. I expect her to be a woman and be authentic to gather more female support is what I would say. But I'm going to go. I got to drive to the store.
Well, I'll tell you what, I do thank you for coming up here, Miss Lucky, for coming up here and joining the show. And you're right. And I do want to say this to y'all. And thank you for, in the back, somebody named Duggar said, where's my stats to prove that? And it said, Tommy, you got raped in jail. Don't be mad, crispy bird beak ass nigga. Then he wrote, ask Alex if my dick was good. He's talking about my child. And then he writes again, Tommy got, he didn't mean to read it. That might have been a mistake. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to read. Tommy got R-worded. Now he mad. Nigga, don't be mad. You have a person up here, his name is Reese, but he doesn't have any of his devices connected. Are you up here just to listen? Or did you plan on talking? Are you up here to listen, or did you plan on talking with me?
No, I didn't have everything set up right. I'm not too tech savvy, but I'm here now.
Okay. Oh, what's going on?
Well, it's shameful. I was trying to catch Melanie, but it's okay. I can give some input anyway. I think she showed some growth up here. I'm a huge fan of Melanie. I actually have an affection for her. I think she showed some growth today. I didn't know that. I knew she was mature, but not that mature. You know what I mean? But in the same breath, she is an adult, and I'm from the old school. And adulthood to me means you say and do whatever the fuck you want. Now, these brand new motherfuckers is always talking about accountability and accountable for this, for that. I don't know who in the fuck on this planet thinks they have the right to hold anybody, any adult accountable for whatever, if it's not affecting them. Because ain't nobody holding me accountable for shit. I'm gonna do and say whatever the fuck I want to the day I die. And I wish a motherfucker would try to hold me accountable for something. That is bullshit. But I get it. You know, y'all YouTubers, and these are the rules. You know, there's certain rules. I don't apply by them, but I get that y'all have rules. But what I heard today was good, man. And couldn't have came from anybody better. The man himself.
And I'm glad that you said that, and I appreciate that. Which then makes me feel a little bit odd that I had to watch you on a show talk down on me.
I was part of 2 roast shows, right? That was about you. Now, when I come on to somebody's panel, I never know what the show is about, but I'm not going to dip out and leave if they're roasting somebody, but I will not get involved with the roast. I might giggle and chuckle at some stuff, but I don't roast nobody because I don't want no smoke on YouTube.
Because I just found it odd that I was listening, and I can't quote you word for word, but I remember because I said, wow, I've been nothing but nice to that guy.
You have.
And now he's telling me or telling these people how I'm a clown.
Oh, no. See, I do think you're a clown, but not in the negative sense. Like, I'm a clown, you know what I mean? Like, I like clowns, people that have a sense of humor and don't take everything so fucking serious and that are politically incorrect and know how to spice things up when we're having a conversation. That's, matter of fact, that's one of the things that I really do appreciate about Tommy Sotomayor. I have disagreements, but I don't bring them up because I don't give a fuck. It's not that important to me, you know what I'm saying? I take what I enjoy and I run with that. Whatever I disagree with, I just hold it inside because I don't really care. Now, if you heard me say something fucked up on a smoke show, trust me, I didn't mean nothing malicious by it. I probably was just joining in on some jokes or whatever. Dude, I don't have no enemies up here, man, for real. You gave me a shout out on my gender war song. I love you for that, man. I never thought in a million years you would even go check it out, but you did. That shit meant something to me.
But see, that's what I mean, though. When you can't say, remember when you're saying that, you said she grew up. You said she was more mature at that moment than you thought. But then you said, well, I'm on a roast show with these people, so I just joined them in on roasting you. But you haven't roasted me and you played my music when you didn't have to. Think about doing that. There has to be somebody that says, hey, look, if I got a problem with this man, he's always up here. And I could say something to this man directly, but I didn't. Now y'all roasting this man who's done something that I didn't even think he should do, but he did it for me. Why would it still be, but for shits and giggles, I'm going to join these other people putting this man's name down? I don't get it because it's an actual name.
Me personally, brother, I've never put you down, but I will admit that I've been on a couple panels where people were going at you and I did hang around. You know, I might giggle and stuff, but I won't.
It was your words directly, and that's what hurt me because I was like, hey, I wasn't nothing but nice to this guy.
Hey, if I said something that bothered you, I'll apologize. I'm a man at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Just like I went crazy about the whole accountability thing earlier, but if I offend somebody, hey, man, come on, you got mine. I'm 53 years old, man. I'm not immature and like a lot of young cats.
You're not 50, Reese. Come on, man. Don't lie on us. Come on, bro.
53, fatty. 53.
Come on, man. How you doing, Tommy?
53.
Well, I'm doing all right, Fatty. All right, Fatty. You said you wanted to come up here and interrupt, so I let you up. And guys, when y'all jump in the background and write what you're up here for, it's easy to get up here because then I know exactly what you want to talk about. I don't want to make this show go too long, but I'm glad that you guys are up here talking. Go ahead, Fatty. You want to jump in?
I came here to hold you accountable, Tommy. You are a piece of shit because you made Melanie cry. She's innocent. She is an awesome woman. She's pure. She's here for good reasons, and I can't believe that she...
Patty, those were tears of release. Those weren't tears. No, they were. She'll tell you tears of release. I'm good at what I do. There's a reason why people pay me $350 an hour. There's a reason.
Let me ask you something, Tommy. Do you believe this saying? The only time when you should believe a woman tears is when she cries on private. Do you believe that?
I don't. Well, did you hear what I said? I don't believe these tears. I don't. Let me tell you why. I'm very honest. Because I don't trust women because I know a woman's job. Even if it's I've seen women do way too much damage in my life, and I've watched them cry. And I remember telling a woman who had cheated on me, she kept crying every time I bring up that she cheated. And I said, "Well, you was crying when you were sucking his dick? You were crying when you were fucking him. So why are you crying now? This doesn't make sense. You knew it would hurt me, but you didn't cry. You just did it. So your tears are for what now?
Yeah.
It's just you got caught and you don't want me to say what you've done. So therefore your crying is supposed to make me go easier on you. You weren't crying when he was fucking.
She went from my friend. Oh my God! Let me work it out real quick. Hey! Like it's actually scary, and Therese and too lucky because we've been around these YouTube streets. Like the fact that you guys are willing to accept the bare minimum just because, like, oh, she grew up. She cried for 3 seconds. Oh my God, she's so grown now. Like she is. She's going to do what she's going to do.
Well, and Fatty, you didn't see it. I had to beat her into even admitting that there was a problem.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but that's the thing. There's the fact that we think that if you are on these YouTube streets, everybody can get it. It's fine. Let her cry a little bit. Let her think about her life and all that shit. She will be okay tomorrow. And if she's not going to be okay tomorrow, she shouldn't be here. Because we are going to be vicious and everybody can get it. As long as you don't be vicious to other people and then you cry about it. Oh, are they being mean?
Well, I do want to say this to you, though. Y'all, when y'all say y'all vicious, I gotta ask, why are y'all so vicious, though? What do y'all get out of that?
Because we can, Tommy. Because we can. We are young. We are not.
What do you get out of it, though? Like, what do you get out of it, though?
When I say vicious, is on real life, there's a barrier of, I don't know. People are not as mean to each other, and they are not going to tell you the full naked truth, right? Because they understand that in person there's some kind of ramifications. On the internet, people can be blunt with each other. As long as you're not lying on that woman, as long as you're not trying to bully that woman, as long as you're telling her the truth, as long as you're holding her accountable by her own admission, like you did, talking about, for example, her telling that woman that work are these and this. Wait. Hey, Tommy, be careful. You're going to. Are you sure?
I just put him up there because he was back there wilding out.
You want to get run out. You want to buy. You want to go have another YouTube channel probably on the next week. Don't do that. But that's the thing. Your line of questioning was fair. Your line of questioning was fair. Why are you criticizing women and chastising women and telling them that she should do this and this and that when you are doing exactly the same? And like nobody has to have a problem with it. And I don't know if you saw what she did on the Mike TV.
You got to be you got to be a professional here, sir. You got to be a professional. You know what he's doing, and you know he's going to do it. You're supposed to be able to keep your point going without being bothered by Joshua doing what he's doing.
No, I'm not bothered. I'm just afraid that you're going to be corn bombed. And he like
did what?
He's going to flip that shit to a penis or something like that, and now you're
Go ahead.
Because if you think that guy is real, I have a bridge to sell you, Tommy. I'm telling you, that is going to change it real quick. But that's the thing, right? Everybody, especially if you are judging other people, you should be held accountable. That's why we have smoke shows. That's why we tell people, why you disagree with me? Come on, but talk with me. And the reality is, the expectations for a woman are on the bare minimum. Like, she has 150,000 subscribers or whatever it is. And she, unfortunately, like, she can't hold a conversation without crying. Like when you say women shouldn't be leaders because of this, I don't agree 100%. I believe in exceptions. There's some women that actually do well under pressure. But if this woman with hundreds of thousands of subscribers, as soon as she gets a little bit of pressure from her peers, she tumbles and she starts crying, like, you shouldn't be giving advice to nobody.
Yeah, but you know what's weird? She didn't cry when those dudes were giving her straight hell.
Yep.
I didn't understand it. She was letting them, I don't know, she was letting them go in on her like it was a orgy.
I think I know why. Because she thinks she's above them. But when you come on and now she has some type of, she wants either your validation or she's trying to qualify herself to you, your words cut a little bit more deeper than the guys that are just talking shit with 1,000, 2,000 subscribers like me, 10,000. Now that you are that figure, it cuts deep, right? It's like, for example, if you are an angry man, came on my show, started talk shit about me, it would be a little bit different than just my friends just say, that is a piece of shit. Because we kind of look at you guys like look up to you guys. So I think he was that. I think
I think you do have a point. I've been told that I go deeper on women than a lot of men do.
Pause. Why are you talking always about your dick, Tommy? Come on, man. Every fucking show,
you guys gonna be laughing at this shit.
Man, hey, LTV, don't laugh at this guy, bro. They're like he always doing some dick jokes and shit. Don't do it. He's going to feel that like he's being funny. Just do it.
Now we pause everything on my channel, man. Everything is paused. You say something zesty, we pause in that. But you could say it, you get your jokes off. It is what it is.
But first off, I didn't mean I need you to cut your camera off. I don't need no handsome niggas up here. It just need to be me and Fatty. It's ugly nigga day.